Drift Kings New Zealand, 6 rounds across the country. It all comes down to this, the pinnacle of drift. Hundreds of battles, thousands of ties, but only one Drift King. It's the grand final of the New Zealand Championship from Taupo Motorsport Park. Who will be New Zealand Drift King? So Cody's Bourbon and Cola National Drifting Championship, brought to you by Castrol EDGE Oil, BP Ultimate 98 and Dodson Performance. Well, joined in studio with Kenny here. It's all been about this one man, Fanga Dan Woolhouse.
Yes, Fanga Dan, the National Drifting Championship of 2006, coming back with a very strong display in the 2012 and 13 season, and he's been pushed by this man right here, Andrew Redwood, in the Achilles Radio FC RX7.
Always been the bridesmaid, having a bit of spin at Tauranga, the spin against Mad Mike at Hampton Downs. He's trailing the points, but then Mad Mike was there.
Mad Mike came back in the second half of the season, fought back from 12th in points after his horrid gearbox failures in Whangarei and in Christchurch, on song again in the Red Bull RX7. Perfect display and taking the win there, back-to-back wins against Fanga Dan.
And ultimately taking the BP Ultimate 98 Triple Crown winner.
So still leading the point standings, Fanga Dan Woolhouse and 30 points behind Mad Mike Woodett. And of course Andrew Redwood, the dark horse for this championship now, he's really pushing these top two guys. So here we are in the beautiful Central North Island at Ricoh Taupo Motorsport Park for round 6 of the National Drifting Championship. Drivers briefing underway, our championship trophies on display in front of our top 3 title contenders as the judges explain to the drivers what's necessary to win the grand final. Let's go trackside with Brendan White.
With an Arctic blizzard covering most of New Zealand, Taupo Motorsport Park has opened it up. The sun has been shining and the gods, the drift gods, are with us for the Cody's D1NZ National Drifting Championship Grand Final.
So as the first practice section gets underway, the top teams are busy crunching the numbers to see what they need to do to qualify well and take this title.
Like, we've come back from 12th in points and now we're sitting seconds. Man, I'm gonna be freaking burning rubber harder than anyone else out there. Yeah, fingers crossed, no mechanicals, but we'll give those V8s a run, that's for sure.
And someone looking for a strong finish today for that championship fight is Andrew Redwood in the Achilles FC RX7. Let's go down to the pits and see what he had to say.
Pretty much Fanga would have to lose his first battle and I would have to come in first place, which is a big ask. But hey, I mean, I'll hopefully still be on the podium at the end of the day, and if I can take out this round, that'd just be, you know, something good to end the season with.
And of course our championship leader, Fanga Dan Woolhouse in the Castrol EDGE Commodore, had a nightmare on day one, missing all of practice with an oil pump failure, and the FDC team managing to repair the engine overnight and bounce back in qualifying to take out number 1.
What's it going to take to win today, bro?
Just consistent, I think. Just keep it clean, you know. Like, we haven't had much practice this weekend with all our problems, but hey, we've kept it together and kept calm and we're here to do it, do the job.
Oh, good luck for the battles. We'll see you on the podium.
Thanks, man. Cheers, eh?
All right, before we head into the pro class, let's take a look at the Pro-Am Development Series with Darren Kelly after a dominating performance leading the standings ahead of Matt Lauder and of course New Zealand's top female drifter, Jody Verhulst.
That's right, Kenny. So we go straight to the top 4 for the Pro-Am Feeder Series for D1NZ. Unfortunately for Gareth Grove in the Smith & Davies S14, it wasn't enough and Vincent Langhorn took the win to move on forward.
A battle we've seen all season, Jody Verhulst and of course Darren Kelly in the DKM Fabrication R32 Skyline. Kelly will eventually move on to the final while Jody Verhulst battled for 3rd and 4th.
That's right, Kenny. New Zealand's only female drifter moving up to Pro next year as well. She battled against Gareth Grove and she managed to top that 3rd podium step for the final round. So we moved on to the final battle of the final round of the D1 Pro-Am Feeder Series. Darren Kelly, the strong horse through the series, versus the underdog, Vincent Langhorn, driving like he was on fire all weekend. And it all came down to Vincent Langhorn and this one mistake. Over the tyres he went. That was enough for Darren Kelly.
So Darren Kelly takes the win, becomes our 2013 Pro-Am Championship Series winner. He'll move up to the Pro class next year alongside Matt Lauder and of course Jody Verhulst.
3 drivers that I'm definitely going to be watching out for next year as they enjoy the champagne showers coming through. What a season it has been for the D1 Pro-Am Feeder Series. And so now we get down to the business end of the championship. 6 rounds across New Zealand, Kenny, and thousands of people came out. We jumped straight into the top 32. One of the championship contenders, Andrew Redwood against Shane Allen.
Yep, big championship drama right here as the Achilles FC RX7. Andrew Redwood makes a big mistake on the last double apex on the last big sweeper. Look at this, into the dirt against Shane Allen, and it's all over Red Rover. That championship is gone.
A sad end to Andrew Edwards' championship campaign, but it's straight into the top 16 now. Drew Donovan versus Cole Armstrong, and another big mistake from one of the leading drifters in New Zealand. Cole Armstrong spins in the borrowed car.
So Shane Van Gisbergen in the top 16 up against the Cobra Batteries S15. Robbie Nelson, the young gun, just didn't have enough. Shane Van Gisbergen, the V8 Supercar star, moving through to the top 8.
And former champion Carl Reutemann in the GT Radial S14, just a bit too fast for Willie Foster in the little AE86 that he thought coulda, shoulda, woulda, and there goes the bumper. That's enough for Willie Foster, unfortunately.
Fanga Dan in the top 16 up against Bruce Tannock. Fanga Dan in the Castrol EDGE Commodore laying down a huge smoke screen. Tannock just didn't have enough in the chase. He'll go home early.
And newcomer to the series this year, Ben Belcher in the Green Brothers RX7 gave it one last nudge against the defending champion Curt Whitaker, but unfortunately slows it down on that last corner. Judges mark him down for that, and that will be Curt Whitaker through to top 8.
Battle of the V8s. Gaz Whiter up against the young gun Shane Allen in the Federal Tyres Falcon. He just didn't have enough though for the Tictaloy S14. Gaz Whiter, the 3-time champion, taking the win.
Two drivers supporting and driving hard against each other. Oh yeah, young gun Nico Reid versus Troy the Family Guy Forsyth, but what a chase from Troy all the way from Christchurch. That'd be enough. Nico Reid out. Troy through to top 8.
Mad Mike Woodett, our second place championship contender. This was the battle of the weekend up against the Roll A Action Cam R33 Skyline of Zach Pole, the rising star, up against the big boy.
And the magnitude of this battle and that slight mistake you just saw then from Mad Mike Woodett meant to mark down from the judges. They've already gone one more time again, but that was enough for Zach Pole to take the win, which meant the championship contention was all but done for Mad Mike Woodett. And who should be watching from the sidelines but Fanga Dan Woolhouse.
And this is the point right here where Fanga Dan knows he has got the championship in the bag. And check this out, camaraderie with his teammate Gaz Whiter, both former champions. Fanga Dan now a little bit more relaxed as they head into the top 8.
So we get to the business end, the top 8 of the grand final. Woolhouse, Donovan, Whiter and Forsyth on one side of the table. Van Gisbergen, Pole, Reutemann and Whitaker on the other. We get straight into the battle. Fanga Dan Woolhouse versus Drew Donovan.
Another battle of V8s in the top 8. Drew Donovan in the Magnum Turbo S15. It's Fanga Dan Woolhouse in the Castrol EDGE Commodore.
So they scrub off the tyres, and an important factor now, the pressure's off Fanga Dan. He knows he's the championship winner, but we've still got a round to win and he's not going to let up. They both initiate into the first section, and this is a hometown track for Drew Donovan, so it should be interesting to see how he closes the gap against Fanga Dan there. He's going to try to hit the inner apex as they come through. Good closure from Drew Donovan.
Yep, Fanga Dan's got plenty of experience here too, though. It is one of his favourite tracks. If you remember 2 years ago, he won here on the debut of the V8, and here he is again in the new look Castrol EDGE Commodore, leading out from Drew Donovan. He'll take the advantage in this pass as we swap over.
So Fanga Dan on the chase. He's not going to hold back. He knows he's got the championship in the bag, but this is drifting at its best.
Going on board with the Castrol EDGE Commodore. Check out the rubber flying into the cockpit as Fanga Dan puts on a stellar chase run. And look at the Castrol EDGE Commodore lurking in the back there.
That's right. The judges are going to be scoring maximum points for that. Over $48,000 worth of tyres go up in smoke each D1NZ round. That's a huge advantage to Fanga Dan, and he will make it through to the top 4.
Yep, fantastic display of driving from Drew Donovan too. He's another up-and-comer in this series. Got his first debut podium at Ruapuna in Christchurch, but today it just wasn't enough.
The next top 8 battle up, two drivers that won a strong finish this season. Troy the Family Guy Forsyth, all the way from Christchurch versus Tictaloy S14 driver Gaz Whiter, who's hungry for a win. And we're on with Troy. Initiates in. Troy has had an amazing season as he chases down Gaz Whiter.
Yes, the Tictaloy S14 leading out big V8 power, the RB-powered Nissan Rapid Performance S13 putting on a stellar chase.
Troy done an amazing job to close up in the midsection of the track there. He's going to try to close this gap. Fires in very fast as he comes into Gaz Whiter. Slight correction there, nearly puts a wheel off. That's going to mark him down on the judges' score sheets as they swap over now. Troy's going to have to really push hard on his lead.
Here we go with the second pass, on board with Gaz Whiter in the Tictaloy S14 as we initiate into the first section.
Gaz Whiter not holding back, bumper to bumper action going on there. Slight dirt drop there from Troy on the lead, and now Gaz Whiter, bit of a shallow angle there.
Yep, he knows he's got the advantage, he's playing it safe, but here he comes, reeling in the Rapid Performance S13, powering through the smoke. Still keeping it safe on this last double apex. And look at Gaz just starting to put the power down nice and smooth as he chases the rapid performance he's 13.
So a huge amount of smoke there from Troy, but this is where it all went wrong, unfortunately, for him in the grand final. Slight correction on his first pass on the last apex. Gaz Whitaker through to top 4.
Next battle up, Shane Van Gisbergen, the V8 Supercar star in the Federal Tyres Falcon, up against Zach Pole in the Roll 8 Action Cam R33 Skyline. He's in the chase. Let's see how this one goes.
Now, Shane Van Gisbergen couldn't have asked for a more exceptional season. His first season in D1NZ, he had the Holden versus the Ford at Manfield, and Zach Pole, his first season out of the rookies. Two amazing drivers we're going to watch next year. Zach Pole with a slight advantage on this run as they come to the last apex. He's going to try to close it up, but big smoke there from the Rattler Motorsport Ford Falcon.
Yep, stunning driving from Zach Pole though. Of course, he is on a high after knocking out that championship contender Mad Mike. And here we go into the second pass as we swap over as
Shane Van Gisbergen is not going to hold back. He is one not to like to lose. And look at that chase from Shane Van Gisbergen. He knows potentially Zach Pole's got an advantage. Switches on in, a couple of slight corrections there on the chase, but what a chase it is still.
Yep, Shane Van Gisbergen in his first season, not afraid to chase, but check out the angle that Zach Pole puts on this last corner. He's been doing it all through practice, all through qualifying, and he'll take the win in the top 8 and progress through to the top 4.
And this is how cold it is in Taupo. On the bonnet, keeping warm on the grid. 6 degrees, but they're still trucking on as Curt Whitaker comes up against Carl Reutemann.
Yep, 2 former champions right here on screen as the Autoshore R34 Skyline just powers away from Carl Reutemann.
Now, Carl Reutemann's a very textbook, clean, fast driver, so Curt Whitaker's actually doing pretty well, but does manage to reel him in now through the centre of the track. They're going to switch through. Who's going to have the advantage on this last apex? Well, Curt's getting that gap back out. Reutemann, unfortunately, can't close that gap up, so slight advantage coming through to the swap over for Curt Whitaker.
Yep, plenty of 2JZ smoke there, the Toyota power plant in this R34 Skyline, but check this out, what a fantastic chase from the former champion.
That's right, Kenny, the Autoshore R34 back bumper to the GD Radial S14. The 123's on the back of that car, the Achilles 123's definitely putting the power to the ground. Look at that, closes the gap. Curt Whitaker was the defending champion till this round, and he's happy about that chase. Arm out the window, fans love it as well. Curt Whitaker goes through to the top 4.
Taking a look at the Castrol EDGE replay, this is where Curt Whitaker had it in the bag. Dives in but doesn't go too far, hangs off that bunk bumper, actually gives him a little touch just here. Precision driving from the former champion.
Coming up after the break, we've got the top 4. Fanga Dan Woolhouse versus Gaz Whitaker, Curt Whitaker versus Zach Pole. Stay tuned, battle's up next. Welcome back to the Cody's Bourbon and Cola D1NZ National Drifting Championship from Taupo Motorsport Park. Now, if you've just joined us, top championship contenders Mad Mike Whitted, Andrew Redwood are out. The next battle up, the top 4, Curt Whitaker versus Zach Pole.
The Autoshore Skyline out in front with a very quick lead, trying to reel in last year's DK.
Yeah, Curt Whitaker's been very fast through that midsection, and as you can see there, trying to catch up to him, Zach Pole carried too much speed to that last section, hits the back bumper on the outside clipping point. That's going to slow him up on the last apex, and a huge advantage to Curt Whitaker, not what Zach Pole was hoping for coming into the top 4. So we swap over. Curt Whitaker's going to be bumper to bumper, door-to-door action here at the grand final.
On board with Curt Whitaker, look at this fantastic chase run in the Autoshore Skyline, and check this out, right off the back bumper, plenty of smoke from Zach Pole, hits that tyre.
That's right, Curt Whitaker nowhere to be seen in the smoke, but this is a good chase. Drives on in there on the last apex. Is he going to be able to close up the gap? Oh, slight correction there. Big angle from Zach Pole. Now, both had slight corrections in each run. Curt Whitaker nearly collects the front of Zach Pole as he comes through. As we go to the replay.
Check this out. Curt Whitaker just fires through that smoke. Almost collects the front of the R33 Skyline of Zach Pole. Here's another angle. Curt fires through. Nearly would have been all over for both of them. But Curt takes the win, and look out for Zach Pole. He's still in there for 3rd and 4th.
So who's going to take the grand final bragging rights and go through to battle Curt Whitaker for the top podium spot? Fanga Dan scrubs those tyres as the Tectaloy S14 does the same thing, a crucial part to get that first. New layer off we go, the teammates, the Whangarei people, local Skinny, your hometown, Fanga Dan Woolhouse versus the Tectaloy S14.
Yep, it's the 2 Drift Corp boys, both teammates with plenty of experience, probably 20 years of drifting experience between the two. And look at this, fantastic battle. Both drivers know each other's driving styles quite well, and they just have full trust and confidence in each other, and they always love putting on a big smoke screen for the fans.
Two of the most well-respected drifters in New Zealand, probably two of the best drifters in the world without a doubt. As you can see here, Gaz Whitaker, two high-horsepower Chevy V8 side-by-side synchronised drifting. A great chase there from Gaz Whitaker, but a slight correction, so a small, ever so slightly small advantage to Whangarei Dan.
Here we go, we swap over on board, the shades are on, and check out this fantastic chase on board with Gaz Whitaker. Check out the smoke as Whangarei Dan starts to reel in the Tickaloi S14.
That's huge, Angel, coming through that midsection from Whangarei Dan, and he closes the gap up. The judges are going to be scoring this high. Gaz Whitaker goes out wide, manages to close that gap a bit on the last apex. This is going to be a hard battle to call for the judges.
Yep, even though you get the shades on, you could see the determination in Whangarei Dan. Two exceptional drivers, way too hard to call.
That's right, so as we see in the replay here, big angle from both drivers, really aggressive from Whangarei Dan, but a slight correction there as well. It's going to be a hard one. We go to the judges, we wait, and the judges call Fanga Dan Woolhouse in the Castrol EDGE Commodore. He goes through to battle Curt Whitaker for first and second, but first, the battle for third and fourth.
The final podium spot up for grabs for this season, and third and fourth we have Zach Pole and Gaz Whitaker in the Tickaloi S14, bagging these tyres for this next battle.
Right, so there's no holding back now. Someone wants this. I know Gaz is going to be hungry just as much as Zach Pole, and look at that initiation. Body panels of Zach Pole's car flying up in the air, but Gaz Whitaker, what a chase from Zach Pole. These two drivers are fast.
Check out that angle, is that aggressive switch as we went on board with Zach Pole, and look at this, reeling in a former champion, stacking on that angle that we've seen so much of throughout this season, and what a fantastic exit out of the last corner.
Definitely delivering more angle out of that last corner as well today than any other driver. So here it is, Gaz Whitaker, are you going to be able to chase down Zach Pole, the new and upcomer, as you said? A bit of a break there from Zach Pole in the initiation, but tries to get away from the former champion, the Tickaloi S14, though not letting up. And listen to those engines.
Yep, listen to that big 7-litre LS7 trying to chase down that arch nemesis, the RB-powered Nissan, as Gaz Whitaker tries to catch up to Zach Pole, but look, big mistake here as he goes way too shallow, tries to correct it, puts the pedal back down to try and catch up, and almost passes him on the exit.
What an effort from Gaz Whitaker and Zach Pole. But as you can see, the BP replay shows here, Zach Pole passing is not going to be enough. Too consistent on that last corner, and Zach Pole will pick up a podium spot.
Here it is, the final battle of the season.
I'm pretty happy to be in the final, first round and last round, so it's been pretty cool, and against Whangarei as well, so good end to the season for us.
It's been a goal that I've wanted to do, especially with this car, you know, and something different, and you know, just stuck with what I love. I think is Whangarei Dan 2013 Drift King.
So it ends where it all started. Round one, Whangarei Dan Woolhouse went up against Curt Whitaker, and Curt Whitaker won. We flip it on the roof, and at the grand final, it's the same battle as the smoke comes into the tyres. Will Whangarei Dan get payback?
Yep, this battle is exactly how the season started in Manfield as Whangarei Dan lays it on down, but look at Curt Whitaker sticking to the rear quarter of the Castrol EDGE Commodore.
With both drivers using all available track, Curt Whitaker's doing an exceptional chase here. Two New Zealand champions as we come into the last corner. Whangarei Dan stacks on the angle and slows it right down, but a mistake. A big mistake there from Curt Whitaker. That's a zero, Kenny.
Yep, Curt overcooked his chicken right there, and Whangarei Dan taking the win as we take a look at the replay. Absolute precision and skill from Whangarei. Slows it right down, but still manages to maintain that angle. And look at this, Curt Whitaker spinning out. He had nowhere to go, speared off into the grass.
So that means it's a 10-0 to Whangarei Dan at the moment. If you spin and drift in, you get a zero. Curt Whitaker comes into the first section. Can he force a mistake on the new Zealand champion? Curt Whitaker, last year's champion. What a chase from Whangarei Dan. Slight correction there. What he's after, though, is a mistake.
Check out this big angle. Whangarei Dan's not giving up, staying on that rear quarter and dives on in, and this is what the judges wanted to see. Diving in but not going up past the B pillar. Hanging back off that rear quarter. Plenty of smoke off the 2JZ, but Whangarei Dan doesn't care. He's going to take the win. He knows he had the advantage and bags it up down the main straight.
And such a familiar shot that many drivers saw. Whangarei Dan on your tail as we see the replay here from Castrol EDGE. What a drive by Curt Whitaker, but it wasn't enough. He's going to take second place, and as they come down in front of the crowd, a bit of camaraderie, shake hands between Curt Whitaker and Fanga Dan. What a season it has been. 6 rounds across New Zealand, and this is what it boiled down to. Third place went to Zach Pohl for the round, second place for Curt Whitaker, and first place for the round, Fanga Dan Woolhouse.
Which means coming in second position, representing the Red Bull RX-7, make some noise for Mr. Mad Mike Woodett, which means your new 2013 DK is Mr. Fanga Dan Woolhouse.
So Fanga Dan Woolhouse takes the win here at the Achilles Radial Grand Final for the Cody's D1NZ National Drifting Championship. Curt Whitaker hands over the famous trophy. Mad Mike Woodett takes out second place as the champagne flies for one final time here at Ricoh Taupo Motorsport Park.
10 years of New Zealand drifting. It ends here for 10 years. Taupo Motorsport Park. We have a new 2013 champion, and it's Fanga Dan Woolhouse in the Castrol EDGE Commodore, with Mad Mike coming in second, and Curt Whitaker, the defending champion, he now sits in third. What a season it's been for drifting in New Zealand. What a season. Hundreds of turtles, thousands of tyres up in smoke, but one Drift King. Fanga Dan, you deserve this win.
The Cody's Bourbon and Cola D1NZ National Drifting Championship brought to you by Castrol EDGE Oil. BP Ultimate 98, the only gas that you guys should run in your car. And Dodson Performance. From the tens of thousands of fans that made the rounds all across New Zealand, the D1NZ team and drivers, thank you for your support. You can catch us at round 1, Hampton Downs in November. We'll catch you on the flip side.